Alright, peace, 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 Christy. I hope that you're doing wonderful and welcome. This is going to be the second session that we will be doing together. And so in this session, I'm going to be talking about your relationship dynamics, your relationship style, and just the experiences that you tend to attract where relating with others is concerned, you know. Now, we're going to be looking at your sun, we're going to be looking at your moon, we're also going to be looking at your Venus, and we're going to be looking at your Mars, and we're going to top it off by also looking at your descendant. Alright, so first and foremost, you know, when it comes to your sun, you have your sun in Gemini in the 9th house. The sun highly helps us gain awareness of like what our focus is and what our interests are, and what we're willing to direct our willpower towards, you know what I'm saying? So you have your sun in Gemini in the 9th house. So this is an indication that typically when it comes to the people that you desire to interact with, you know, whether that be platonic, romantic, and even to an extent the domestic, you know, the domestic family members that you favor, these are people that are intellectuals. These are people that synchronize with the Geminian energy, people that you can exchange ideas with, you know, people that, you know, have the same sense of curiosity for life as you do. Gemini is also a free-spirited sign, you know, so you enjoy being around people that are free-spirited and people that can share the same energy of free-spiritedness as you do, you know what I'm saying? But simultaneously, you also have your moon in Aries, so it's not only that you enjoy the company of intellectual people, someone that you can learn from, and etc., but you also enjoy people that are independent, you know what I'm saying? People that have this masculine energy about them, that have a sense of drive, that are ambitious, and that know what they want and aren't afraid to go and get it. You know, you enjoy bold energy, you know what I'm saying? And just in general, also independent energies, people that know, like I already said, you know what they want and they're living that out, you know what I'm saying? So this is very macho masculine energy. So this is another theme and energy that you enjoy and that you may find yourself attracted to. Now, this can even be like like people that may be domineering, you know, and may have a desire to want to dominate. And so with the moon in Aries in the 7th house, it indicates that a lot of your relationships have been you know what I'm saying? It has been with people that can at times play out as controlling, but also people that are spontaneous, fun, people that are willing to act now and think later, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of your energy as well. So it's kind of a reflection of what you'd like in regards to what you, because the moon is like what you attract, whereas the sun is more like what you are actively focused on looking out for, you know, looking for, you know what I'm saying? But so with your moon being in Aries in the 7th house, it is of great importance to understand that when you are dealing with romantic energies and just relationships in general, typically 9 out of 10 times they are going to be emotionally charged, you know what I'm saying? There is going to be this passion, you know, you enjoy passionate people as well. There's going to be this passion and this tension, like the sexual chemistry in the air, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? That fire, that zeal. And yeah, you enjoy that sense of excitement, and it's like you don't like to an extent boring people, you know. You need like to be in relationships that are adventurous and fun and spontaneous, like you may never know what is to happen next, you know what I'm saying, type energy. But for sure, I'll also tell you this, with your moon being in the 7th house, relationships are one of those things that you would benefit from making a priority, you know what I'm saying? And learning to focus, make it a focus of yours. But simultaneously, like, it's interesting because with Aries in the 7th house, these are people that need to learn how to gain their own independence in relationships. So yes, it's of importance that you have relationships and you don't isolate yourself, but simultaneously in relationships, it's important that you learn how to create boundaries and you learn how to allow your partner to understand that you as an individual need the freedom to be able to express yourself, and express your independence, you know. So anytime, you know, like, and I'm gonna talk about, you know, let's say like an arrangement, right? Like, because you have your sun in the ninth house, you know, so this is not per se you, but like, because, okay, the ninth house is like the house of religion, right? So, for example, something like an arranged marriage, right? Where it's like, you don't completely have a say on who you date or anything like that, but it's arranged. And there's this sense of control over you, of like what you need to do and what you need to be. Like, you would completely rebel out of that, you know what I'm saying? And there is a lot of masculine energy also, like, that you have an ability to express as a woman, you know. So it's very important that you don't get in relationships where people expect certain things of you, like, yeah, you know, you should play the women role, like you should be in, you know what I'm saying, like, this is bigotry. I'm using that word right too. Energies where it's like, yeah, no, you don't have a voice. You're here to be seen, not heard, etc. You know, like, these are things that Moon and Aries, 7th house energy, just does not resonate with. It's like, you definitely need that platform to express yourself. And these are also people that may not completely be comfortable with like being taken care of, but they may want to take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? They may want to be on their own 2 feet, etc., etc., etc. And so, with Moon and Aries energy, you know, wherever Aries go, there is this energy of strive and strive. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you need to learn to overcome certain things, and you need to learn to rise to a new level. And for you, that's in relationships. Like, you need to learn how to gain your independence back with time. With, like, I'm not saying isolate yourself and not interact in relationships, because typically that's easier, you know what I'm saying, for these placements. They go through experiences with people and they don't realize and understand how to enforce their independence, and so they tend to end up being taken advantage of and all these things. So then they think like, well, the best logical solution is for me to just stop interacting with people, when in reality, like, you really can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really truly not an option, even though we may think it is. Like, not interacting with people is never really an option. Like, you gotta interact with people and you gotta figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because humans, we are social creatures, meaning we are here to interact with each other and socialize and all that good stuff. But yeah, so Moon in the 7th house in Aries, you know. Yeah. So this can even to an extent be like you, like, because the Moon is attraction, you know. So this can even play out in energies of you attracting people that may have self-intentional, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, self-orientated intentions, you know what I'm saying? Where they may like perceive you as someone they can benefit from, rather than coming at you from a perspective of like, how can I give onto you and how can I help you? So you may have had a lot of experiences like that where people try to take advantage of you and you know, strip you of like your resources and of like your emotional currency type energy, you know what I'm saying? People may enjoy, or you also may enjoy, like, I don't even know if the word enjoy is the right word to use, but Moon in Aries in the 7th house signifies great, like, domestic violence or aggressive energies, you know, where it's like, you can be a type of person who, when you're chilling, you're calm, you know, all is well, and you're fun, and you're light, but when you get angered and you get triggered, then it's like, yo, get out the way. Because you may be a type to throw things, to yell, and all these other things, you know what I'm saying? So it's very definitely important, like with this placement, that you learn to find ways to channel your anger healthfully, you know what I'm saying? Especially also in relationships, that you learn to channel your anger in healthy ways rather than kind of like restricting it and pushing it to the back end, you know what I'm saying, to the point that you learn to deal with your anger and all that good stuff as well, in as much of a healthy manner as possible. Now, when it comes to, hold on, give me a sec. When it comes to, okay, so that's like the Moon in the 7th house. When it comes to the Sun in Gemini in the 9th house, we did previously, I did talk about, you know, how people with their sun in Gemini, they enjoy being around people that are free-spirited like them. You know, they don't like to be caged. They like to have the capacity to think freely. You know what I'm saying? So thinking freely is of importance to you, and having a partner that is also free in thought is of importance to you. You know what I'm saying? And you have your sun in the 9th house, which means that you love and you appreciate when someone can come to you with a broader perspective, and they can teach you something, and they can share things with you, and they can enlighten you, and they can show you different points of views concerning life. You know what I'm saying? This is like definitely sun 9th house energy. The sun in the 9th house also can play out through foreign energies. You know, you also have your sun and your Venus in the 9th house. So yeah, 100% you will relate with the fact that there is an attraction to foreign energies. You know what I'm saying? This can be like foreigners, you know, people that aren't from America maybe, or just people who have foreign ways of thinking, you know, spiritual people, philosophical people. You may enjoy being, or you may have once upon, I don't know what your stance on religion is, but you know, this is like a person who enjoys and appreciates someone who, let's say, is aware of the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, and who understands the significance of faith and all that good stuff. So for you, you definitely would benefit more from being in a relationship with someone who, let's say, is in synchronization with higher ways of higher thinking. You know what I'm saying? Ways of higher thinking. I guess I'll just leave it at that. Ways of higher thinking. Like, that's definitely an important thing for you. Okay. So it's also important that you get in relationships with people that share the same vision as you. You know what I'm saying? And so what this can mean also is, like, you can, because okay, Gemini is a masculine sign as well, and it deals with leadership energies, you know. So this can even be like you starting off with someone who, let's say, is on a student role, and kind of helping and guiding them towards the expansion of their mind and the expansion of their way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because this isn't all just romantic relationships, even though it does apply to that as well, but just relationships of all kinds in general. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to per se be in relationships where ignorance is the core, is the root of, or the core of the relationship, and the thing that allows the relationship to be to stick and to remain, like the way that you guys relate is like, oh, we're just both having fun, you know, like that's, because that's a very Aries thing. You know, Aries can be the type who enjoy, like I said earlier, spontaneity. So like they can enjoy just partying and just doing things and somewhat being reckless, you know, and like I said earlier, doing something now and then thinking later, you know what I'm saying, going on adventures and all that good stuff, rather than just having to be impulsive, because that can lead to like detrimental energies, you know what I'm saying. Rather than just having it lead to impulsive energy, you can instead fulfill that desire for like adventure and spontaneity, but through like the 9th house of like having someone that you can study with, you know what I'm saying, having someone you can practice your spiritual energies with. And I don't know if spontaneity would be the right word to use, but more like just having someone who you can strive for higher things with, you know, which is kind of spontaneous. You know what I'm saying? Oh no. Give me a sec. Oh, just noticing some things in my body. You know what I'm saying? Nothing with the reading. Just noticing some minor changes in my body, and I'm like, yo, I need to handle that, because you know, people around me are like getting sick, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get sick. Watch. So, in order for me to not get sick, I have to put certain, you know, protocols into role, I guess, and say, for lack of a better term. But yeah, so pretty much that's the two energies right there that we have been focusing on. Getting in, like, the sun, Gemini, ninth house, attraction towards intelligence, people who have a great sense of curiosity for life, people that aren't caged in their way of thinking, people that are like social, that can be social butterflies, and that can be flexible and adaptable and changeable. Like, they don't just need they don't need sorry, what was I gonna say? They don't need like a concrete way of thinking in order for them to feel like, in the sense that a lot of people who get stuck in the ways of thinking, it's due to safety and familiarity. But like, it's open-mindedness, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. And also a person who is like spiritual or religious, and willing to expand their mind and expand their awareness. Definitely two important things. And then with the moon in the 7th house, definitely someone with an ability to share with you emotional things. You know what I'm saying? Like, emotional someone who you can have an emotional connection with. You know what I'm saying? Someone who can help you feel like, help you feel seen and help you feel heard. And like I was saying earlier, like, this isn't an energy where it's about you learning to like sacrifice yourself because you may be too much for others, but it's more so about learning to find ways in which you can interact with people that are compatible with your sense of zeal for life. You know what I'm saying? And when I say zeal, like enthusiasm and excitement for life, and your desire for spontaneity and adventure and all that good stuff. And you definitely do need someone with a great emotional IQ, because you can, looking at your chart, you can be someone who can be somewhat emotionally, quote unquote, hard to handle. In the sense that you also may not be the best in communicating how you feel, and when it comes to your emotions and your thoughts, there is a square, right? Because that's what it shows in your chart. So there is friction and you may have hard times like trying to put word into the way that you're feeling, and it's like the way that you're feeling can be very intense. You know what I'm saying? Very intense and like very orientated towards the me, the I, the self. But then like the way that you're thinking, it may encompass broader like things like emotion and like who's involved in this situation and how are they affected. But like there's one energy of like caring about something because it happened, and having the ability to empathize and sympathize. But then it's a whole other thing to be like, but what about me? Like, I do care about what happened to you, but I was kind of put in the ways of danger, and it seems like no one cares. And so I feel like the contradiction can kind of be like the way that you express your emotions, because it can be so raw and so direct and so blunt. It may make people feel like you don't care, but simultaneously the way that you think and the thoughts you're considering are thoughts that are caring. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those two energies clash, and it's like important for you to learn how to communicate your feelings and communicate the things that you are finding yourself caring about at the moment, but also simultaneously the things that you feel like you need to be seen for, but these are that you need to be seen for, you know what I'm saying? But these are things that are like just personal, like things that deal with your ego. So on one hand, we have like compromising and putting your selfish emotion to the side and kind of thinking about everyone. But then on the other hand, we have like being just like not justified, but what's that word when you like validation, being validated. You know what I'm saying? So it's two energies, and we'll talk more about that later, because right now we're primarily trying to focus on relationships. But yeah, that's one thing that can be of difficult, like learning and finding ways to communicate your emotions. You know, like with you. Okay, so let me see what you're. Let me see. Let me look at other things for you as well. Yeah, you know, finding ways to communicate more properly with others. You know what I'm saying? Especially those that tend to find themselves in your closest vicinity. So it may feel easier, you know what I'm saying, for you to just keep to yourself and selfishly like protect your emotions, but it's of importance if like you want thriving relationships that you learn to open up and be more vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, with people and with situations and with so on and so forth. Okay. Next we also have Venus. Hold on, give me a sec. Next we also have Venus. Hold on. Yeah, okay. So now that we talked about that, the next thing that we are going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about your Venus and your Mars energies. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so first and foremost, you have Venus in Gemini in the 9th house. So when Venus goes into Gemini, it does bring like this very, as I was talking about earlier, you know what I'm saying, very flirtatious energy into the way that you relate with others. You know what I'm saying? A very go-lucky type of energy where it's like, if there's someone you come across who like you just fancy, typically because of their intelligence, you can get very giddy and very excited about that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of this thing where if it's shiny, it'll catch your attention. And this can pose like problems in relationships because of the impulsive aspect of things, you know, which is reinforced by the moon and Aries energy. So this can be a person who may be really good at living in the moment and thinking about momentary things, but then when it comes to looking at things from a larger perspective, give me a sec, actually, I need to find a different way to explain this, because you also have your Venus in the 9th house. So the 9th house in Gemini, these are polar opposite energies, you know what I'm saying? Like, Gemini is an energy that is not afraid to like explore and experience and kind of flirt and shy away from responsibility and like, yeah, not like, when I say responsibility, I mean like loyalty and fidelity type energy, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of want to be able to have their cake and eat it too. You know, they want to have fun. And yeah, they want to have fun. You know, they want to have fun for sure, for sure. But then simultaneously, the 9th house is a house that deals with thinking from a higher perspective, thinking from a higher ground, you know. So this is like someone who, in a relationship, it can play out two ways, you know. The mutable signs, Gemini, you know, Sagittarius, etc., they are yin yang type of energies, you know. So it really depends on you and which octave you're playing from. On one end, like the 9th house can kind of play out this energy of like, you're here to have fun and have a journey in romance and love, and kind of, you know, have as many like just have like, it's like the core energy of it could just be fun, you know, because it's a firehouse, you know what I'm saying? It's a house of experience. So on one hand, you know, this can be like a person who is open to experiencing relationships, you know, and understands that in relationships, like every single relationship they have, like they do incorporate the philosophical energy into it, you know, where they're like, everything happens for a reason, including the relationships that they have. So these are people that are more lenient towards relationships ending, Like, they may not be super too attached to when a relationship ends, but simultaneously they may not be super too attached when a relationship is like solidifying, you know, like they're kind of open to just the experience of it, period. And these are people that, like I was saying previously, you know, it's of importance that you get into a relationship where spirituality or philosophy or religion, you know, however you, or a way of higher thinking is incorporated. You know, you don't want to just be in a relationship where it's about mundane things and about like going out and having fun, but it has to be a relationship where the two of you guys are collaborating, and you guys are fueling each other's soul as well, you know, and the collaboration between the two of you increases like the divinity within, you know, existence, etc. For sure, for sure. And so when it comes to Gemini, so it's very interesting, as in Vedic astrology, Gemini is represented, so in Western astrology, Gemini is represented by like a man, I mean, the twins, right? Two brothers, right? The twins. But then in Vedic astrology, it's represented by a man and a woman, you know, who are in love. And so Gemini, if you know anything about tarot, is the lover's card. You know, Gemini is the lover's card. So it's not so much about the twins, but it's more so about the feminine and masculine energy. You know what I'm saying? It's more about the feminine and masculine energy in their unification. And so with that being said, like with you having it in the 9th house, and then you also having Gemini here in Venus, like you can be like if you open yourself up, and you start to pour energy into your Venus, meaning like you start to focus on and think about relationships, because it's like the planets are like our chakras, and the chakra is like a part of like a dimension of the mind, you know what I'm saying? Like we have our root chakra, which is like our thoughts revolving, and like the mental aspect that deals with like the body and like possession, having things, just the physical world in general, right? And then we have the solar plexus, which is more like our independence, our ability to express ourselves, our will, and our dynamic with power. You know what I'm saying? And then we also have like the heart chakra, which deals with our capacity to love and how we think. You know what I'm saying? Not how we think, but in how we like. That wasn't it. I kind of prematurely paused. But like how we think in correlation to the connections that we have, and our ability to be aware of how connected everything is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so like that. So they're all different dimensions, and it's the same thing with the planets. And so when you bring attention to certain planetary energies, then like you're activating that planet. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I meant earlier when I was saying if you focused on it. Like by focusing on your Venus and Gemini in the 9th house, you have the capacity to attract like your soul mate or your twin flame, however you may want to call it, the counterpart to your soul. You know what I'm saying? Like this definitely is an energy of like, okay, so the 9th house is a house that deals with the heavens. You know what I'm saying? And then Gemini is the twins. You know what I'm saying? Or the man and the woman, right? Who are in love. And then Venus is just romance and love in general. So yeah, this is like you have a capacity to attract a relationship that was made in the heavens, you know, as that saying goes. And all it takes for you to do so is focus, you know what I'm saying? To focus on that energy of Venus. And that's alchemy. We'll get to that later when we get to it, you know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, for me to truly share with you information that you can apply and all that good stuff, it will take us time. And we need to cover certain things. Okay, yeah. So, anyways, interesting. Not only do you have, indeed, very interesting. Not only do you have your Venus in Gemini in the 9th house, and we'll get back into that in a bit. But you also have Jupiter in Libra in your first house. Pardon me. So, with you having Venus, with you having Jupiter in Libra, it kind of just reveals that you do have a great capacity for, like, being blessed through relationships. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, your relationships can be a great source of blessing for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this, like, okay, it sucks to see people that don't know nothing about astrology look at a placement like this, right? Jupiter in Libra, and think like, oh, like, you can get, like, married into wealth, you know, because Jupiter deals with wealth and Libra deals with marriage, you know what I'm saying? But even though that is one possibility, that's just one channel of many, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jupiter does deal with abundance and prosperity and generosity, but simultaneously, on a greater note, Jupiter deals with spirituality, it deals with wisdom and knowledge, you know what I'm saying? So you can acquire inheritances, we'll just say it like this, in love that deals with being blessed by the divine, you know what I'm saying? And so one of the channels for sure that this can play out through is financially being given plenty through your marriage and things like that. But not only that, it's like you have the capacity to attract a mate who can help expand your awareness and consciousness, you know. And through the expansion of awareness and consciousness, then, if done correctly and if done in the areas where the second house value things are concerned, then you can attract finances and wealth and all that good stuff to you. You know what I'm saying? But tip also though, like, we gotta talk about the fact that you have Jupiter in the first house in Libra. So this is like a lot of the experiences that you go through in relationships. You have to be mindful and understanding that those experiences that you're going through in relationships are meant to help you as a person grow and expand. You know what I'm saying? And they're and it's like whatever relationship you go through, there typically is a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom that's there. And you probably have, it's very interesting. And you probably have gone through a plenty of relationships, you know what I'm saying? And that may be one of the places where that's one of the places where you are being directed to learn and grow, you know what I'm saying, and expand. And a lot of the times, like, these experiences aren't really harmonious like that, you know what I'm saying? You may go through relationships and the person may oppose the heck, like, the wisdom that, like, the experiences that you're going through and the wisdom that they are trying to instill within you may oppose your emotional needs and your emotional comfort and fulfillment, you know. So, like, yeah, there's definitely one thing that I see in your chart that yeah, because you have, and then you also have, okay, and you also have Mercury square Jupiter. So first and foremost, you know, with like Jupiter opposing your moon, this is like going through experiences where you actually need to go through these things, but you may not completely have the capacity to know why or feel the justification for the thing that you're going through. I was just doing a reading earlier with one of my friends, you know what I'm saying, and he shared with me the 3 A's, you know, which are like, in all experiences, you should always acknowledge what you're going through. Acknowledge, appreciate, allow. Okay, you should always acknowledge what you're going through. Appreciate it, because like, and he said this after I shared something, you know, and I'll share what I shared with him after I tell you the 3 A's. After appreciating what you're going through, you should allow what you're going through, in the sense that we are just children, you know what I'm saying? When you look at the microcosm and the beings that are beyond, above us and beyond us, and their intellectual capacity and what they're capable of, we are still in training. You know, we are like babies, you know, still learning how to walk, cosmically speaking. So there are a lot of things that we are being put through and we are being guided through that we may not have the capacity to know and understand, you know what I'm saying? But we should always trust and have faith that this higher intelligence knows better than us, you know, and it's equipped at its work and its job. Like typically when things come to you, it's because you're meant to go through that experience, because it's meant to add a layer to your character that's going to help you be more of a greater asset in the larger cosmic scheme of things. You know, we can say the kingdom of God, you know what I'm saying? We are in training at the moment so that we can be of greater service in the kingdom of God. I hope that that makes sense to you. Or in the cosmos or in the universe, you know what I'm saying? So every single person's journey is different. And certain people have to go through certain things. Like, you know, I hope that that makes sense. I have to go through certain things and I can't judge the things I go through, but just trust. Now the thing is, the universe, the cosmos does not want us to suffer, you know? So it puts us through certain things that are put there to help us be equipped to not suffer later in the future, you know? Like, we can't just expect to continuously be favored and blessed and like just taken care of by the cosmos. But it's like the greatest gift that the cosmos can give us is self-independence and an ability to exercise our own capacity for creation, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why we go through all the things that we go through. And some of us need more experiences in this area and more than others, you know. But we all are going through this and the third. And yeah, it's important to know that when you go through these experiences in relationships, that you use your wisdom and knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Use your wisdom and your knowledge. Use your wisdom and your knowledge. So as you are learning things and you are expanding, you know, ensure that even when you go into relationships, you don't just throw that away, but you put it into practice, you know what I'm saying? And you put it into practice. But another note, I think I already said this earlier, is like you can get lucky also in relationships, in partnerships, you know what I'm saying, where you may attract very, very generous people, people that are very, very wise and intelligent. What the fuck? Why does it have to be like that? Okay, so you actually have both Saturn and Jupiter. You have both Saturn and Jupiter in Libra, you know what I'm saying, the sign of relationships and marriage. So Saturn is like the next door neighbor to Jupiter, but Saturn is like the opposite of Jupiter, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter expands, blesses you, and enables you space to breathe and flow, and you know what I'm saying, good feng shui. Whereas Saturn is on you, you know what I'm saying, breathing over your neck, putting you through things, criticizing like the experiences you go through, and wanting and trying to like make you independent, you know what I'm saying, by putting you through trials and tribulations. Like Saturn is the planet of harsh experiences. Harsh experiences that are directed to, or not directed, but harsh experiences that are intended to crystallize you and help you fulfill like your role and attain your status in life. You know what I'm saying? We're all meant to reach a certain status, you know, be known for certain things. And Saturn, through its trials and tribulations, really, really helps you with that. You know what I'm saying? And so on one end, you have Jupiter in Libra in the first house, right? So the first house is not per se a house of relationships, it's the house of the personal life. But then Libra is the sign of relationships. So it's like a lot of the relationships that you've had and the way that they have personally influenced you. Like, this is energy that is present within your moon as well, because you have your moon in Aries, but it's in the 7th house, you know. So it's kind of a reverse type of energy where it's like taking your soul, not your soul, but like your life force, your vitality and your energy, and directing it towards relationships and dynamics, you know what I'm saying, to the point where it's like there may be a loss in one's identity of like, who am I without this relationship or this dynamic, etc., you know. But simultaneously, like with you having Jupiter and Libra, it's like if you play your cards right, the relationships that you go through and experience can be catalysts for you to gain a better awareness and a better understanding of yourself and who you are. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of a contradictive energy, because this type of energy right here, Libra and Jupiter, is like, these are people that will do things out of well, we'll talk about it through Saturn, the negative. But the positive is Jupiter and Libra in the first house are people that have an ability to know how to do something for someone, but for selfish reasons. You know, like, these are the people that'll go out their ways to help you because they feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of gives them some sort of gratification or sense of power, you know. And the issue here is that you should learn to gain power through exalting yourself, you know what I'm saying, and doing things for yourself and putting yourself in greater positions rather than putting other people in greater positions, you know what I'm saying, and like being of service to another person, and through doing that feeling a sense of gratification. Because it's like when you do such things, you may find yourself doing all these things for this person, and the more you do these things for this person, the more sense of like confidence you gain about yourself, and etc. But then it's like once this person pulls away from you, you know what I'm saying, like and they just start acting a different way towards you, then this like dramatically impacts your character and your being, you know what I'm saying, who you are as a person. So pretty much, you know, like with Jupiter in Libra in the first house, it's important that you go through experiences where you learn how to find balance in relationships from the perspective of like allowing relationships not to act as forms of separate people coming together, like separate, like people, two different people having an experience that has nothing, like, how do I put this? So what I'm really trying to say though, because I was trying to explain it in this way, I'm gonna abandon the way I was trying to explain it, and I'm gonna say it in another way. It's like, okay, Libra is about relationships, and it's about the two. The first house is about the self, so it's like learning how to see yourself in other people, you know what I'm saying, and realizing that this person is just a mirror and a reflection of you, and the way that you treat this person and the interactions you're having with this person is a deeper reflection of your dynamic with yourself. But simultaneously, not only the way that you're treating them, the way that they are treating you is nothing more or less but the dynamic that you are having with yourself, you know what I'm saying. And so allowing relationships to be catalysts where you can learn about yourself and learn about who you are as a person, you know what I'm saying, it's very much Jupiter, Libra, first house of energy. Now Saturn in Libra in the first house is an indication of, whereas you can expand and learn, it kind of plays out where simultaneously with certain dynamics and certain relationships, and it kind of just takes on your behalf discernment to know where you are, and if you are on the plane of Jupiter or on the plane of Saturn, you know what I'm saying. Saturn is more so the planet of restriction, limitation, And it deals with relationships that feel like they're restricting your airflow, you know what I'm saying? And they're not letting you just be yourself holistically, but they're kind of trying to control you and manipulate you and deceive you and, you know, like just restrict you type energy. So it's important for you to be aware of, like, okay, am I in this relationship out of fear, or am I in this relationship out of wisdom and out of faith? You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much that. But anyways, with Saturn and Libra in the first house, this is like going through experiences in relationships, you know, where the relationship may be a great source of stability and security, to the point where you can see it lasting long, like seeing longevity in it and justifying the relationship. Oh, okay, so I gotta remember that Saturn is exalted in Libra. So Saturn is actually exalted in Libra. So this is like, yeah, you know, going through relationships where you want to act in fairness as much as possible, but simultaneously, regardless of the things that happen maybe to you, you always want to be in a justification energy for the other person, and in a fairness energy for the other person, where it can be where it can lead to an extent where it's like you may find yourself compromising and putting in hard work for the relationship, where it may not completely be 100% balanced though, because the other person, they themselves may not be in that, they may not fully be committed, but it may be like you may be more committed than them. Hold on. Before I go forward, let me think more about this placement right here with Saturn. Saturn conjuncting Jupiter also, so it's not all bad. Okay. So yeah, you know, with this energy, like I was saying earlier, it can play out like that, you know, where it's like commitment energies, and where it's like you may find yourself being more committed to the cause than them, you know, and it may play out as very self-sacrificial energies, where it's like you're sacrificing yourself, and you're doing certain things to sacrifice yourself, but for the sake of the relationship. Sad. Wonder what just happened. It's weird. Okay, yeah. Like pretty much, you know, Saturn just puts you through things. Libra is relationships. So you although you have this capacity to attract harmonious relationships, beautiful harmonious relationships to you, that can act as expanders for your being, you know, your personal life energies, and help you learn more about who you are as a person. Simultaneously, a lot of the times, the way that the universe, cosmos, God, spirit, source, Jesus, however you may want to call it, directs you to that space is by, it's kind of like the story of Job, you know what I'm saying? He'll put you through things, but as spirit, source, God is putting you through these things, he is as he's putting you through these things, he is like, he's doing it with the intention of goodness, you know what I'm saying? And these are things that, like, the goodness doesn't escape you, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't go unrecognized by you, but you start to realize that, like, yo, I was going through this relationship with this person, and like with Jupiter and Libra, my bad, with Saturn and Libra, it's also an indication of going through relationships that can last long, you know what I'm saying? You also have Pluto in Libra. You have a couple planets in Libra. If you have Pluto in Libra, though, it indicates that a lot of your experiences in love, or in relationships, rather I should say, are very intense. You know what I'm saying? And they can be very transformative for you. So it's important that as you navigate relationships, you look ahead in a sense and be like, okay, our dynamic in the way that we are interacting, which pathway can I take to attain harmonious and positive constructive transformation? Because typically if you leave it to Pluto alone, a lot of the times Pluto will take you through the mud like Saturn, but Pluto will transform you negatively, you know what I'm saying, to a point where it's like transforming out of this physical body type energy. So it's important that yeah, so Pluto. We'll talk more about Pluto in future conversations. But yeah, you know, Pluto in Libra just shows a capacity to have intense relationships, and just typically a lot of the times the relationships that you have are intense, and you also value, because you know it's in the second house, you value, one of the things you value is intense relationships that aren't shallow or surface level, but relationships that can help you transform and grow as a person and as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. So, um, we're gonna talk briefly about your Mars in Taurus in the ninth house. So, with you having Mars in Taurus in the ninth house, this is kind of an indication of like, one thing that may be a struggle for you in dynamics in relationships is, you know, people kind of not always understanding your belief systems, you know, or not always wanting to agree with your belief system and kind of wanting to challenge it, and their justification of it may be like just very practical things, like, you know, it's not logical because what's practical and logical is what we have. Like, it's like people may opt out on you because they may be materialists. I feel like is what your Mars in the ninth house, your Mars and Taurus in the ninth house can say, that like a lot of the times in relationships, people may not, like not everyone, but a good amount of the people you may find yourself attracting may not completely want to engage in such deeper ways of thinking, but they just may want the superficial, shallow aspect of things, and just may want relationships, maybe so you guys can share resources, or they may want relationships so then yeah, just really practical things, like so you guys can share in each other's routines and patterns, you know what I'm saying, support each other, etc. And they may not want to go deeper than that. And so, and it just also is an indication that you yourself may, one of the struggles in life for you may be like finding your faith and finding your religion and finding your spirituality, your path of truth, you know what I'm saying. Of course, with you having your sun in the ninth house, this is something that you focus on and you prioritize tremendously, greatly. But simultaneously, you know, it does show that like, yeah, it does show that like there can be challenges here, you know what I'm saying? There can be challenges here in regards to going through experiences before you can truly understand and know what your faith and what your belief is. Or you may have had to go through a lot of experiences and hardships and strife for you to finally get to a place where you realize what you believe in this and the third and the fourth. Okay, for sure. Now, we also have your descendant in the seventh house, which I talked about previously when I was talking about your moon, because your moon is in the seventh house as well. with you having your descendant in the 7th house, what this just says and tells us is that in this life, you're here, yes, to be like, because as I shared previously, in a relationship and all that good stuff. But well, it's a staple for you, you know, with you having your moon in the 7th house. It's important that you get into one like before you die, at least you have one solid relationship where you practice being an individual and things like that. But it's like that's what you're here to do. You're here to learn to get your independence in relationships. And like I said earlier, it's not that you should just stray away from relationships, but it's that you should learn how to be in a relationship but simultaneously be your own self. And you have Mars, which is ruling over your 7th house, in the 9th house, which indicates that a lot of the the conflict that may arise in relationships that you may have to need to rise above, is like people that you date or just friends or whatever, kind of feeling like them not aligning with your beliefs completely, or them kind of feeling like either you're too stubborn in your way of thinking, or they may find themselves being way too stubborn in their way of thinking in regards to what they believe. So it's really learning how to be an individual and gain your independence in relationships, but from the perspective of your philosophy and your religion and what you believe in, you know what I'm saying? And really learning to get into dynamics in relationships where that is respected as well. But respected, and there is a sense of harmony there, rather than a sense of like conflict there, because two different belief systems. But yeah, you know, that pretty much sums up this reading, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think about this. But yeah, alright, peace.